What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today on the Craigslist Civic, we're going to start mocking up this exhaust. So what I have going on here right now is we are mocking this, we are setting this in here for the last time so we can actually make sure everything is mocked up and in the right place. So make sure everything is fit and tight. We're clocked on the exhaust side to where we want to be, and so you see that and everything. And then we're making sure our oil feed is in the right spot. It is. And then of course we want to make sure that the actual cold side of the housing looks like it needs to just clock a little bit clockwise. Just needs to turn just a smidgen so it'll point straight down. You want it straight down so when it meets with your intercooler piping, you know, there's not a lot of resistance there, or a weird angle or whatever. So like it kind of looks like it would work now, but it would look like it's going to come in at a funky angle, so we're going to clock it just a smidge, a little bit. Alright, so what it did, took it out, loosened all the backside of these. This is, I don't know if you know how to clock a turbo, but you just loosen up these fasteners on the backside here that hold these flanges down, and this whole housing will rotate. So I rotated it a little bit, so I put it back on a little loose. That way I could actually position it exactly where I want it. Now looking over, get under here, and we look. So the housing lines up directly with this. Okay, and that's what you want. So when the pipe goes up into here and comes straight, it comes straight over to it. Actually, looks like we might want to clock it. Let me put another bolt on this real quick, and we might want to clock it up just a little bit. Okay, so I got this now. Just gonna move that ever so slightly. So when the pipe comes down, try to get it directly into this piece of pipe as easily as possible. So it's gonna come straight down and like that. And I do have to trim up my old piping a little bit so it'll fit into here, because it is at this point a little long, because the old one set up in this area a little bit. So I think that looks good. Maybe want to move it just a wee bit more. Alright, so the gasket has been sprayed, and I've only got one glove on, so we're going to try to do this one-handed without wiping too much of it off. Gasket is on. Alrighty. She's clocked. So let's get this thing. Let's put her in here. And just like that, she is in. So I'm going to take a bolt. I'll try to speed this up so it doesn't look as boring. And we got one bolt in. Alright. And then it's as simple as putting the rest in. Make sure she's made it up good. And then I'm going to put the rest in, and then of course, like always, you want to tighten from the inside out. Alright, so let's slide this down pipe up in, y'all. And I'll go right to the actual nipple. That's one that's pretty good. It's not the one. It clears. Up here. So both still easy. That's down there. It clears. I'm going to make something, make a new return. Hopefully you guys can see that. She's up in there. I just have her mocked right now. I don't have a gasket in there, but we're just mocking everything up because we need to make a test pipe that goes between here and all over there to the actual mid pipe for the exhaust. And fitment on this is actually pretty good. Alright guys, so this is where we're at right now. This is where I'm going to stop for the day because I do still have to do the valve lash on this because I just want to get it done, knocked out of the way. I don't want to forget to do it because these valves are going to be super tight in here because of the way I lapped them really well and did all that. So I don't want to run a groove into my cam because that's what will happen whenever you take a valve train apart or anything like that. Just by default, always do your valve lash because things move and things get tighter, tolerances tighter or looser or whatever. In this case, they're guaranteed it's going to be a lot tighter, and you will run a groove into your camshaft because that's just how the byproduct of having tighter valves is. Aside from that, I slipped the AC compressor down in here, and the fitment is just fantastic. All the little stuff I've been fighting, it is what it is. I mean, it's just little things at the end of the day. It's all about the big picture. Go Auto Works absolutely nailed fitment on all this stuff. This comes down perfect. This clears the oil pan perfectly. I'm pretty sure that kind of like lines up perfectly the way it's supposed to. That's not tacked on yet, but I'm kind of just mocking things up and seeing where they sit. Yeah, all this fitment is fantastic. I still have to pull this back off. I'm going to pull this back off of here, and I'm going to wrap this in header wrap. God, I can even like get my finger in between here now. Like that was not a thing before. All right, guys, it's a new day, and I got the downpipe back off. I have cut my piece of exhaust pipe 16 inches, which is the size actually of a factory catalytic converter for this particular model vehicle. Got this right where I want it. I've got my old crappy Harbor Freight flux welder busted out. I'm about to hook the ground on, and I'm just going to tack this sucker on here. I'm going to put this back in the car, and then I'm going to toss that up in there, tack those both, and then we're going to head over to Crazy AF's, and we're going to weld this thing. Alright, so got the pipe cut. I had to take about 3/8 of an inch off to make it fit in here perfect. Got both clamps up in here, or both flanges on here. Got it sitting resting in here. It's in here. It's in here perfect. It's just sitting on the gaskets. Flanges are mounted. So now I'm just gonna get the welder up, ground these out, and tack them. Alright guys, so where we are right now, we have actually made quite a good bit of progress. We've got the wastegates on. If you want to get down here, we can look. Remember last time you saw this, I was tacking this. I just went ahead and welded it up, just knocked it out. But made a test pipe, had the trim intercooler piping. I'm sitting here test fitting this, making sure this is the right size now, which, beautiful, which that is the right size now. Beautiful. Look at that. It's money shot, son. Yep. Alright, so intercooler piping, I just need to put a bevel in here. I don't have a bead roller, so I'm going to show you a trick so you can put a bead in this. We got the header, the downpipe, we got it wrapped with header wrap. I've got a temporary oil return for the moment. It's not the best, but it's going to do the job for the time being. Hopefully it's got enough fall. I've got more parts coming, but what I ordered didn't work, so that's gonna have to work. Alright, so I have crimping pliers here, and this is how, just work it slow. This is how you're gonna put a dimple in there and roll this bead, but little bit at a time. Don't rush it. This piping is generally pretty soft. Get in there. Hey now. Okay. Yeah, Daddy likes it. Do I got enough room to fucking get it? What's it called in there? Yes, I do. Sweet. We have intercooler piping. Yeah, alright, so what we got going on here right now, we did the valve job. Anybody that wants to know the order, I think I've said one of this in my videos once before, I can't remember, but you put your cam gear and you find your top dead center, you put your cylinder 1 at top dead center, it'll say up on the cam gear and it marks and it lines up through the bullseyes, through the timing cover. So the order is going to be cylinder 1, then a quarter turn of your crank gear. So you turn your crank gear, sorry, not a quarter turn of the crank gear, but you turn your crank gear until your cam gear turns a quarter turn, and then from there you go to cylinder number 3. Then you go a quarter turn, and it'll say the top, where it says top or up, will point down, and you go to cylinder 4, and then you go to a point right, and you go to cylinder 2. So when you are at top dead center for that particular cylinder, you want to be at 7 thousandths to 7 thousandths to 9 thousandths clearance on cylinder number your intake side, and you want to be at 9 thousandths to 11 thousandths on your exhaust side. But I like to run a little on the tighter side. I usually use my like 7 thousandths is my go-to, and if I can fit a 9 thousandths in, it's still too big. So it's kind of like the way to really gauge on how you're doing it. It's really simple. It's just a little tedious and time consuming. All you need is a 10mm wrench and a flathead screwdriver. So once you got that done, it's pretty obvious after all this, I'm definitely putting on a brand new valve cover gasket. So the only trick here, because Hondas leak oil and they'll find any reason to go push them out, little RTV on your corners, just a little doop. Little doop. A little bit. That's it. Yep. So, a little piece. Alrighty. This is gonna be fun. Do me a favor and hold that back. I had to use both hands for that. Valve cover's on. Now you want to put your valve cover gasket or your valve cover down. It's 10mm. Like everything else, I'm going to start in the middle, work your way out. Use 1/4 inch for this. Do not use 3/8. If you snap one of these bolts off, you're going to hate your life. Don't ask me how I know this, because I might have done it before. Yeah, you snap one of these suckers off in this head, it's gonna be a real bad time. And I'll tell you what, when I did it, it wasn't. I didn't even put that much pressure on it, and the bolt just yanked right off. Yeah, it's bad. I had to like notch down into the fucking head with a blade and like dig. Oh, dude, it was bad. All right, so there's that. Next, we're gonna put the fucking What are we gonna do next? Make sure this is snug. Spark plugs are next. And we'll be right back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We are like literally at the end. We have everything. Get this out of here. It's a little dark out. Oh, I'm sorry. Everything's hooked up. The lash is set. I'm sorry. Yeah, the valve lash is set. Everything's hooked up. AC, power steering, turbo, everything's set up. I'm just waiting, like I said before, I'm waiting on the Honda Bond or the RTV to cure. You know, everything's back on, everything's set, and yeah, in the next video, starting and running. Oh, and like always, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I'll do what I can to get back to you. Peace.